You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. It's amazing to watch these white progressives, these Bernie people, bitch and moan, crying today. Oh my God, we lost 5 House seats and we didn't win the Senate. And first of all, you had a net pickup in the Senate. And all this sort of stuff. And I said to them white folks, I said, listen up all y'all. I got time for your asses today. I said, because black people are saving your asses right now. Black people in Milwaukee, black people in Detroit, black people in Philly, black people in Atlanta. And then they came in with this BS, Greg, talking about, voters from a red state picked our president. I said, I ain't gonna let your punk asses talk about black people from South Carolina. I said, because right now, and in fact, North Carolina is still in the game as well, and that's due to a huge, large black. And so what we as black people are fighting, the racists on the Republican side and the punk-ass white Democrats who want a perfect party, but they want us to be the political sharecroppers, and they want to whine and complain, but the only reason there will be a Democratic president and vice president is because black people saved their asses.
It's true, brother. And I was so glad you had Reverend Jackson on the other night. He should be featured everywhere. But of course, we can set aside white commercial and news entertainment media. There's one story. There's one lead story in this election. It's the same lead story that has been the case since 1968, the last time white people voted for a Democrat. Umair Haig wrote an article today, said that white America wants America to be a failed state. And then he listed all the things that, if you go by the majority that votes a Republican in every presidential election since 1968, after 1968, he says they are for billionaires, inequality, guns, religion, intolerance, state violence. They are against desegregation, civil rights, women's rights, health care, retirement, child care, public services, infrastructure. The lead story of this election is that white people have once again shown that they picked their whiteness over their lives. Black people did not save democracy. Our Spanish-speaking kindred out there in Nevada and in Arizona did not save democracy. We did what we always do. We voted in our interests. And now we should take this moment, set Democrat and Republican aside forever, and think about this in terms of what is in our best interest, and then game that out in 24-month increments. In 24 months, the Senate, a third of the Senate's going to come up. Byrd said he's not going to run in North Carolina. Let's get that seat. Ohio, Pennsylvania, Toomey, wipe him out. Wisconsin, Ron Johnson, worried by a squeaker. Wisconsin has shown if you get arrested, you can do it. Get him out. Lil Marco, you've already said you're going to go out there and make sure he gets retired in Florida. Lisa Murkowski, under 50% in Alaska, and finally Todd Young in Indiana. Those are the leading ones to take out. Last thing I'll say initially as we had this conversation, because this is the only thing to be talking about at this point, is our strategy to help ourselves, is this. The first 2 years of Biden-Harris, even if Warnock and Ossoff get in, it's going to really be driven probably by executive orders. Yep. Because we know we can't trust Manchin. We know we probably can't trust Kelly in Arizona. He's only there for a couple of years till he gets to go back for the full term. And then, so we need to already be planning how to expand the electorate. Follow what Ilhan Omar did in Minnesota. Follow what some of these people have done. Go get those people who haven't voted. And then in 2024, get that Senate flip. And then coming forward for 2022, rather. I keep saying 24. And then in 2024, expand the electorate again. Because this was the most people who voted in an American election in over 100 years. And it was black and brown people that put ourselves in a position to continue to advance our interests. Because white people have shown us what their interest is.
It's just very interesting, Reese. Just looking at these whiners. Oh, God, Bernie would have just beaten everybody. He lost. He lost twice. Couldn't get black votes. He lost. Okay? I would have loved for Reverend Jackson to have won in 84 and 88. But I'm not sitting here going, oh, my God, but Reverend would have beat Michael Dukakis. No. Look, he didn't win. And these people are, and what gets me is, we're literally sitting here. Biden hits 270, he would have flipped 5 damn Trump states. How do you overlook? He is on the verge of winning Georgia. But these white progressives, oh my God, I'm sorry, you can't put that one on black people. We ain't in Maine. You know what? Let's just go on down the line. We ain't in Maine. We not in Iowa. We saved Peter's ass in Michigan. It ain't our fault dumbass Cal Cunningham was sexting with a woman in California.
Right.
Okay? Arizona, Latinos, big backing for Mark Kelly. Whites and blacks and others there in Colorado, both those flipped. Harrison in a deep red state. SB gave it the best shot. Perkins in Louisiana, hardcore right state, Louisiana, right state, Mississippi, right state, South Carolina. You take Texas, all right. Royce West lost by 30,000 votes to Hagar, a former Republican, who the DSCC got behind, supported her. She got her ass whooped by 10 points. So it's like to the white progressives, this on y'all.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I've been battling with these people because I was a Kamala Harris supporter from day one. And so I know firsthand that they have been, at least, let me just say, propaganda and messaging wise, the most destructive aspect of this entire election cycle. They did a number on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris long before the Republicans even got it started on them. I mean, if you look at outlets like Jacobin and The Intercept and all of these Bernie aligned, let me just say, put it that way to put it nicely, outlets ran hit piece after hit piece to try to prop up Bernie. And, unfortunately in Senator Kamala Harris's case, she never really did an adequate job of tackling the smears and the disinformation as you all laid out in the prior segment. Joe Biden completely conceded the crime bill argument. And so that really, they had a couple of years head start working down the image and propagating this propaganda against the people on the ticket, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Despite that, we still look to be, we're on the brink of victory. It's bittersweet because, obviously, this country is super racist and they've double, triple, quadruple down on racism. That's not a surprise, particularly to Dr. Carr, who I have to say, Dr. Carr, you and Roland and Erica, y'all had it right. I shouldn't have had no faith in none of these polls and none of these white people, but I did. I was like, I'm a data girl, and, I think that the data is saying X, Y, and Z, and white folks is lying the whole damn time. So that was my bad. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on. So whatever. Okay, that's fine. I won't be making that mistake again. But anyway, the moral of the story is we have a white supremacy problem in the white progressive wing of the party. They want black people to be the mules of the white progressive movement. White progressives have Columbused black progressive policies like Medicare for All, which is what John Conyers was the first introduced for that. And he had been introducing it for decades before Bernie Sanders ever became sponsored. Bernie Sanders first sponsored it in 2016. That was the first time Bernie Sanders had ever sponsored Medicare for All. John Conyers had been doing it all the way up until then. And they have co-opted what progressive is, and then they turn around and shit on the black electeds and call them neoliberal corporate shields and establishment and every other kind of insult outside of the sun. And so white progressive power is still about white power, okay? It's about, I'm white and I want free, I don't want to pay student loans, I want health care, and I want this, that, and the other, and racism doesn't matter. It's all about economics. That's what their agenda is. I almost shouldn't say all, but that's been my experience. And so they have no credibility to lecture or wag their finger at anybody because a lot of the damage was done by them. And I agree with the prior segment you did with Terrence. We're now going to have to spend the next 2 years trying to undo some of that damage between what the Republicans and the white progressive movement, air quotes, has done to the Democratic Party. And I know that they're trying to use this as some sort of referendum against the people who just got the most votes in U.S. history. That's backwards, but that's what they're trying to do. But we're not going to let them. And Black people, we are, as Dr. Carr said, we're going to make sure that we get a return on our investment this time, because we're the ones who are going to tip the scales in a way that if we have relied on Black, white people, the white suburban, the wine moms, as they're trying to say it in Pennsylvania, we would have been screwed.
Erica?
Listen, amen to everything my sister Reese just said and laid out, and amen to everything that Dr. Carr has said. I think the only thing that I'll really add to this conversation is that when you're talking about how Black folks, Black women and men have been doing the work of building coalitions, of holding some semblance of democracy together in this country. You know, we talked about this on Tuesday when I lifted for Stacey Abrams' name. You know, the former Secretary of State, because I'm not saying he's governor because he stole the election in Georgia. The former Secretary of State, Brian Kemp, during the time that he was Secretary of State, really worked against what Stacey Abrams stepped forward to do, which was to get Georgians registered. And through her work through Fair Fight Action, through her work through the New Georgia Project, and really making sure that Georgia abided by the Voter Act, which would allow people who are seeking assistance, who are going up to the DMV to automatically register to vote, that during that same time, 2014, 2016, that he was working against Stacey Abrams and actually purging the rolls. And so when you think about Black folks actually building ahead of time to ensure that when we come to a place where we actually absolutely need max turnout, that lays to bear at the hands and the feet of Black people. So all of these gains that we're seeing, the races being so tight, you can trace those back to grassroots organizations, mostly led by Black folks, who are also seeing that, listen, these are dangerous people and dangerous policies that are going to harm us. The way that we'll be able to activate and have some seat at the table, be able to move forward, is to get voters registered. So really kind of what we're seeing through this process is not a surprise to me. White and then that whole kind of progressive tag, I'm not with it. I'm not buying it, because as the data has bared out, as Reese has shared with us and Terrence shared with us, and as Dr. Carr laid out, the proof is in the pudding. Dr. Avis often references a report that talked about how there was a choice between whiteness and actually equity, that white people overwhelmingly chose whiteness, and they're going to continue to do that.
All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, the folks at Seek.com, Black-owned company founded by Mary Spio. They, of course, a virtual reality company. You can check out their content at Seek.com, CEEK.com. You can do so, of course, with these VR headsets. You can look at it, of course, on your regular device or your pad or your computer. But if you want to experience being in the room, you can use this headset right here. All you simply do is just pop in your cell phone in here, pop it on, and then put this headset on, and you can literally experience their content in virtual reality. And so allows for you to do a 360-degree view of the room. But also, folks, they have the 360-degree 4D headphones right here. These are Bluetooth headphones. They have complete surround sound in terms of as you hear the particular music. Gamers love them as well when they're playing their games. And so it's just phenomenal bass in these headphones as well. You can get one or both devices at Seek.com using this promo code RMVIP 2020, RMVIP 2020. So we certainly thank the folks at Seek.com for being a partner with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. All right.